Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Not Your Enemy Speak Out sessions. I am Shannon and I'm here with the amazing Mr. Gerald L. White.
Oh, I love it when you introduce me like that. I love it. You just give me that energy boost I need. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'm liking this blue unapologetically. That's looking good on you.
Thanks. I love it
Not
too.
Your Enemy Volume 2 out now.
Boom. Okay. So today we are really focusing on health. And we have another amazing guest with us, another Temple alum, because clearly we're on a trend. Um, Anastasia, I've known her 13 plus years at this point in time in multiple capacities, content creator, producer, and now she's a life coach. So welcome, Anastasia.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So excited. Honestly, I want to give you flowers. I love you, Anastasia. I feel like I just texted you like a whole conversation we had like 10 years ago. And I don't know, I always check in with her and we have some deep conversations, some motivational conversations.
I feel like you are always supporting me and no matter what I do. And while I think you always come to me when I'm feeling like, oh man, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And you just come out of nowhere and just motivate me. And I'm like, where? I haven't even
Oh my God.
talked.
Does the same thing to me. Like that's how this whole thing has started. Like she just hits me out of like when you're like not feeling your best. You're like, well, I don't know what the fuck to do anymore. And then here comes Shannon.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, clearly this is a trend. I didn't know this. I was opposite. I'm like, I just hit her up like, oh, I just want to see how she's doing. Like, I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So let's get started. The first question we ask everybody is how has the current social climate impacted you personally?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this question because I think that, in the beginning, like when George Floyd was murdered, I had a lot of feelings, right? But the feeling that I didn't have was to go out and protest. And
Mm,
I beat myself up. I was like,
Mm,
why don't I want to be out there? Is it because of the pandemic? Is it because of, the looting and the all the crazy things that were being said on the media? Like, what is it about that I'm missing here? And I started to explore that, and I started to see that I just couldn't understand the other side. I couldn't understand why people didn't think that that murder was outrageous, was crazy. I didn't understand why people were supporting Trump. I didn't understand why there were pro-life people but people against the death penalty. Like there's just like so many things that I just didn't understand from the other side.
mhm.
So the thing that I like to do is research. I'm the biggest researcher. And so I sat here and I just browsed the internet and I talked to a lot of people from the other side and I listened to black conservatives and I just started to learn a lot from their side. Now, it didn't change how I felt. It didn't change, the way I was feeling. Um, but I got to understand a little bit more on that side. And so I started to give myself grace and be kind to myself instead of beating myself up. And I realized that this was just a season of input and learning
mm.
from me. And so maybe in the next season, I can, instead of going out and protesting, I can help start making bridges and start, bringing both sides together.
That is so freaking powerful.
Mm.
Because I had felt that before when we were being murdered, even before George Floyd, because this has been going on so long, and I too had beat myself up because I didn't go out there and protest, and I didn't know, and I kind of looked inward too, and I made a promise that if and when this happens again, I'll step outside of that comfort zone and get out of there because it was a bit of like just like you said, just not understanding and not really having a voice. I say this all the time. Tamika Mallory was my voice this time, where when she spoke, it just resonated with me, and I listened, and I kind of were just following her voice, and I did the exact same thing you did, just in the sense of just understanding our plight as Black people fully and what that looked like, and let me go deeper than this happened. Like I need to understand why this happened. I need to get that. So I applaud you so much for taking that opportunity just to sit and look inward and study and study from the other side because that's what's always missing is just that connection. And you see it with this election. Even though we know how horrible Trump is, he still got 70 million votes. He's still up there, top ranked of all the presidents to get the most votes. So that's still saying a lot that people still still care what this man or what that other side has to say. So thank you so much for doing that work.
Yeah, yeah. I think that right now we are so divided. Um, and then I started also watching John McCain speeches and seeing
Mhm.
the friendship between Joe Biden and John McCain. And I, we need to have more of that. I know that the world needs to change and we need to move forward in a different way, but we need that class and that connection again.
Yeah, I will say that politics have taken a change. I think that it's impacted everybody differently because politics used to be, like you said, like class, right? You could have a different political background and still talk to somebody. I think now that has different opinions on you. I think now it's a thing of the politics are no longer politics, right? It's a morality thing. It's a thing of if you believe in white supremacy, like those are the things that are being tied to a political party, and I think that is where the divide comes, not necessarily because I could believe something totally different than you politically, but I can still have a conversation with you. I think now you have Republican and Democrats that are literally polar opposites, but are being tied to morality things and life instead of just political stances. So I think that politics has definitely taken a dive, if I'll say
It's
that.
become a freaking reality show. It's become a damn entertainment circus. And, between this election, the last election, even prior to that, like it's always been this entertainment. It's still trying to sell ad space. Like it's really just this po- uh, poisonous in what it's been doing because we're going through all this stuff with this election this weekend. We're still taking attention away from the fact that COVID's still happening. We're still taking attention away from the racial disparities in the world. We're still taking away from the shit that's just happening in the world all over because now they're using this stunt and using this opportunity as just something to distract us again. So I just think it's crazy, and just thankful for you for doing certain things that you're doing now, like being a life coach and helping people outside of this because this will drive someone insane.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so let's talk about the life coaching thing. What is a life coach? Because I have had some life coaching sessions, and also just giving grace and kind of the whole wellness in together. So tell me what a life coach is for people that may not know.
Yeah. So the role of a life coach is to help you clarify your goals and your ambitions and to help you create a path to get there. I think a lot of the times when people ask what a life coach is, they really want to know more about the process of
Right.
it. And I think that the process is different for every single person and it's also different for every coach, right?
Right.
So the way that I like to look at my process is that we are on this road together. We are going to work together to get you to this place. You are giving 100% and I'm giving 100%. And I like to describe it as we're on a road, we're in a car. You're in control of the headlights. I'm in control of the high beams and the spotlight. You know that spotlight on like the police car.
Mhm. Mhm.
And as we're on this road, this path to get to your goals, maybe a fog sets in. And that fog could be compared to like confusion or, thoughts that, you're not good enough or these things that come along. And so my high beams come on and I help you become aware of that. And then we work through it together. And then maybe there's a pothole, right? So I put on the spotlight and I shine a light on that pothole, and that might be an outer block. So that might be time management or prioritization, and we work through that as well. And so we get through it together to get you to the other side. We give you the tools to put in your toolbox to help you get through this journey of life, to create this unique path for yourself, and then you can use those tools moving forward.
Do you ever because I started using a life coach like right after, not right after, but during early after George Floyd, and just during the summertime, right before we launched this, and it's been super helpful because I've just been open to it. Have you ever dealt with people who've been resistant, or have you ever had stories of that? Because I couldn't imagine putting time in without giving 110% and just being my most vulnerable and real as possible. But have you encountered something other than that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a lot of the beginning conversations before a client actually becomes a client. There is a I have a like a consultation in the beginning, um, where we just kind of talk through what's going on, and I make some awarenesses. I make you aware of some things that may be going on, and we kind of get deep in that first consultation, and then I ask, are you ready? Are you really ready to do that, to do this work? Because through this conversation, this is what I'm seeing. This is how it can help. This is how long this process may take. Um, it's not easy. It'll be fun because I'm very fun. I'm very friendly. We will have a great time, but it's not going to be easy. I like to use like examples, right? So I'm that lighthouse and I'm shining the light, but you still got to get through the storm. So if
Mm.
you're ready, then
Mm.
we do this work together.
That's deep.
Because I
That's
know about
deep.
that storm.
Right. So, I mean, I guess for me, what are some tools that you use personally, or maybe that you advise your clients to use in regards to like recentering? Because again, it's not easy. It's hard work. You're going to be weathering some storms because that life is what it is. What are some tools or tactics you give them to kind of recenter themselves and bring them back down to like their inner peace or their
Yeah.
center?
So yeah, everyone is completely different, right? And
Right.
so I have to go through this together with you to find out the tool that specifically works for you. But one thing that I love and I think works for every person is journaling. Like
Mm.
journaling is you get to just put it all out in front of you and no one else has to read it. As long as you're willing to be honest with yourself, you put it all out there and you can just kind of dig into your psyche, dig into who you are by what you write. And so I put out a monthly journal prompt every month so that people can start exploring different facets of their life. Yeah, that's different.
Ooh, I'm gonna tell you right now that people have asked me to journal in therapy and life coaching, and I am so resistant of it only because I know the power of it, and so I feel like you have to be ready to do
Mm.
that because I'm gonna tell you when I actually did one journal entry, one journal prompt, I was like, I don't want to do this no more.
Mm.
I don't want to because then you look at what you're saying, and I think that really requires you to be honest with yourself. And a lot of people aren't ready to get
Yeah.
to that level because I feel like for me personally, vulnerability is hard. And so when you are really honest with yourself, you're telling yourself and you're saying things that you probably have not said to anybody else of your insecurities or fears, whatever the case may be. I think that is such a challenge. But journaling does work when you do it, when you're open to do it.
Yeah, I have like several journals in here, and that's how I've planned out, just manifested a lot of things, and then I look back and realize that this I wrote these things down in this book at this time, and these things started to happen. That just has been, I think it's been about part of my life. Like I was a kid who had the journal as a kid and had his little diary and was writing shit down because it was important to get things. I knew the importance of getting things off my chest. I saw my mother write a lot, and I just recently learned that she writes poetry, and it's because she has been writing and she has been pushing me to write more because I've told her about my life coaching experiences, and she's like, well, did you try writing this down and asking yourself a question? And then when you start to realize that our parents have had to go through certain life coaching experiences as well, it's fascinating to me. And I'm kind of rambling. Have you ever? How does that work in your family? Like, is life coaching a part of your family? Did your mother do it? Your father? Like,
Yeah, I think that my mom was my first life coach, whether she knew it or not. Like so the one thing that I love about my mom, but I also hated, was that she never gave me the answer. She never gave any of us the answer. She didn't tell us what to do or how to do it. She always just asked us questions. She always, tried to understand, why doing this is important for you. If you don't do it, how is it going to affect you? And we really had these conversations about every single thing. And I'm like, Mom, I don't want this to be a conversation. Just tell me what the hell to do. And she just would not.
I saw that.
Yeah,
She helped groom you to be an adult and figure it out on your own.
exactly. And I commend her for it because I don't think she even knew. Like she didn't, say this is how I'm going to handle my kids. Or maybe she did. I don't know. I haven't had this conversation with her. But she was just so natural at it.
I mean, Anastasia, you're natural in general. Like, let me just give you your flowers now. So, in general, talking to Anastasia, it's very calming. Like, I don't think I've ever heard you yell in my life, but I could be lying. But I've never seen, I've never. It's just very calm aura. Like, when you say, I hit you up all the times, but that's because, like, honestly, your content and the things that you do have always inspired me. Like, I mean, that Black Girl Magic video you did with you dancing. I don't remember what the song was. It Beyonce?
Yeah, it was brown skin girl.
Oh my god. Like, just
I
an
mean,
inspiration. So I feel like even the way that you deliver your messaging, the way you deliver your life coaching, I think just says a lot about your character and like who you are as a person. Like, even talking to you now, I feel calm. You know, just it's a calming presence.
Bad. Yeah, anger and like yelling is not something I reach for because
Yeah,
I can't control it. I
yeah.
don't like not controlling my emotions. I do not like that.
so do you have moments of like, have you ever gotten to that point, or better question is, who's there for you when you're having those moments? Like, who's your life coach, or how do you coach yourself in those moments? I know that you mentioned journaling, but sometimes journaling doesn't work. Sometimes you're just angry and you're just frustrated, and I know I have those issues at moments. Of what how do you yourself deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, my mom is my best friend. So I call her all the time. And there were moments where she wasn't working. And so I would call her literally every minute of the day. And she's like, okay, Anastasia, I need to do stuff around the house. Like, you need to get off this phone. Um, but now she is working right now. So I don't have her readily available. I've started really talking to my dad a lot recently. We've always, my dad has always been my life. He's always been around. We just didn't have those conversations, but I've started talking to him a lot more, especially now with this new journey that I'm on. And yeah, I dance a lot, and that's how I kind of get it out.
Mm.
Can you talk about your dancing? Because I'm super inspired by it. The way those legs move very fast. How did you start getting into that? Like, is that a part of your therapy at this point? Just talk about it.
Yeah. So when I started going on this journey of figuring out who I am and what it is that I want, it started because I've been in this industry of this media, digital TV industry for 11 years now, and when I first started, I said, I'm not going to produce after 30. This is just not what I'm going to be doing. What I wanted to do, I didn't know. So I think around 27, I started being like, oh no, 30's coming. What am I? Where am I? Why am I here? And so I started trying to tap into the things that I just enjoy. And so that actually started with me loving languages. And I started taking Portuguese. I started learning Portuguese. And through that, my Portuguese teacher suggested, different things, different projects for me to do. And one of them was to samba dance. So I went to one samba dance class and I haven't stopped going. Like, it's so healing. The drums, the community, everything about it is just so healing. That it's just been a I don't know, a light that has come into my life.
You absolutely can tell in every video that you post. It's so you can just see. Um, it's something I feel like that I strive for. It's just like you seem so at peace. It's very much so. You can see like the freeing moments of when you're dancing. So I just want to give you kudos for that because that it just seems amazing.
Thanks. Thank you.
Man, I gotta check this dancing out. I need to get more into it. Where do you find your inspiration then? Because you are a content creator also. Where does that inspiration come
Yeah. Um, well, one, I think I get inspiration from everywhere, like everywhere. I can be walking down the street and there could be like a pile of leaves, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, that would be a great video because, and my friends are looking at me like, what? Where did that come from?
from?
It just hits me out of nowhere. But I think that that's like unintentional inspiration. Uh, intentionally, when I go out to look for inspiration, right now, I've been really leaning on my family. My siblings are so creative, like just some of them, they're just so free. And so I've just been pulling a lot of inspiration from them and talking to them a lot more. And then I have a little niece who is 4 years old, and she is like this tiny little miniature version of me, but just so loud and like in your face that I maybe I was there back then, but I'm not there now, and I just like want that. And so she's just been inspiring me to just be bigger.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah. How about you guys?
Children will inspire. Children inspire a lot of things. Like honestly, I look at my son all the time. And I'm like, you're just so cute, and his personality is getting so like I ate the last Oreo last night, and tell you like how he looked at me, it was the most hysterical thing. He's like,
Very so.
"Mommy, you ate the last Oreo," and but it's just like to have them see and come into themselves and come into their personalities and be able to assert themselves. I taught him early. I'm like, okay, you're having a temper tantrum. Let's breathe together. Let's take breaths together. Let's just inhale and exhale. And it's the cutest thing because he does it very awkwardly, but it's just like stuff like that. It's beautiful to see them come into their own. And a freeing thing of like just be your authentically yourself. Because if you start it young, you don't have to worry about redoing it in your adult years.
Yeah, yeah. But I think actually when you started young, you kind of get to know exactly who you are.
Right.
But I think that you're always evolving. You're
Yeah.
always becoming new. You're always your authentic self is changing, and so it's nice
That's
to see
true.
them to see them grow with who they are
Right.
originally.
Yeah.
And then still maintain a little piece of yourself because I still feel like I'm holding on to like this little Jared that's still inside of me, and he's just still like because I love the unintentional inspiration. Like that's where I can get inspirations from like my peers and music and all these other things, but the unintentional inspiration of just getting into your zen and then like having your leaves moment or seeing a picture and you're like, oh well, how can I reconstruct that and turn this into that, and then you have this your own little story behind it that no one else may understand but you. And I just love those unintentional inspirational moments
Those
because
are
it just
well,
festers.
those are the ones that you want to write about in your journal.
Yes.
Um, so I have a question because I don't know, what was that, 10 years ago? Gosh, time flies, Anastasia. I don't know. So we do know that you are a producer, but outside of professionally, right? I think that you've created some really great pieces for personally your travel and things like that. So what if you still do want to do content? Because I feel like life coaching is just another form of content that you could produce. What is like the content that you want to create and produce moving forward?
Yeah. So actually, big news. I just left my job.
Oh, congratulations, because me and Jared, yeah, congratulations.
um, it's been a roller coaster, but a lot of it is, figuring out what kind of content that I want to create. And so I've just started getting into these different projects. And when I have my monthly journal prompt that I send
Yep.
out, but then I also have started creating both sit down videos and vlog videos that'll be up on YouTube. So the vlogs are more behind the scenes of like a new entrepreneur, a new life coach, and all the things that kind of go into that and my thought process. And it's raw, like it's real. I look crazy in a lot of the clips. My hair is wild, no makeup. I might even be tearing, crying because like I call them entrepreneur tears. Like everyone goes through it. It's tough. But you also see the beautiful moments of when things, come together. And then I have like my sit down videos where I'm talking about the different tools and the different techniques that you can use. So you can, if you're not ready to open up and have a life coach or even have a therapist, you can start using these tools to get you to that place to be a little bit more vulnerable.
Sorry, please excuse the music. I live in the hood. No, I don't live in the hood. I live in Brooklyn all day, every day. Shout out to Brooklyn. So the music. So if you're hearing music, it's nice outside. They got the cars down. They're getting every little bit
Yeah,
of this heat.
I'm sure
Oh,
mine will start soon. So
right.
I mean, I just want to applaud you because, or what made you? Let me ask before I applaud you because I'm making an assumption. So, what made you leave your job?
I was ready. I've been talking about it for like 5 plus years, and I was talking about it, and I said this is what I want to do. I didn't give myself I have to do it by this time because things change, things happen, and I don't want to beat myself up all the time. So during this pandemic, I saved a lot. I had the time since I was home to work on the business side of it and create that plan and figure out what it is that I really need in order to take that step. And once I saw my opening and my gut, my intuition said, okay, now's the time, then I took it. I just went for it.
And
Oh,
that's it's so important to trust your gut, because I think me and Shannon are in the same position. Like I said, I speak to her every single day, so she sees me behind the scenes and knows raw like I'm about to lose my shit. But it's that understanding that you have to be kind to yourself and give yourself that grace. That I don't think that we give ourselves. Oh, I can speak for myself. I don't give myself enough, because you do have these ideas that it's supposed to be at a certain place at a certain time, but you don't real sometimes I don't realize the foundation and the building blocks that I'm laying for myself now, so that when I do get to that point, I'm ready, and then my gut says go, I can really go. So I'm so happy for you, and congratulations, because that is it's so scary.
it is.
As much as we want it, it's so scary.
It is. And can I offer, since you like to journal, can I offer
Yes,
a little prompt to help you with your
yes, please.
self grace? Um, One of the things that I did recently was I wrote a letter to my past self, just thanking myself for all of the things that I did and all the things that I went through, in order to get me to where I am right now. There's a lot of things that we're doing right now that we don't even know is going to really help our future selves. So just going back and thanking your past self will just make you feel a little bit better.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, because thank you for that. Because I don't do that enough. I beat my past self up. Like, why didn't you do that? But I never lean into the positive stuff. So I'm definitely gonna write him that love letter.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this whole entire episode, I've just been like catching my breath. So, with like the gems that you're giving, so now that we're fully doing this, right? What and your the YouTube is that when is that coming out? Do you have a launch date for that?
Yeah, so Thursday. Thursday will be the start. It's all
Okay, this is great timing.
yes, great timing.
Right.
Thursday, the first episode, the first entrepreneur vlog. I'm talking about how I like redid my whole room to make it more video friendly.
That's dope. And then what's the name of it's gonna be? Like, what's the name? Where? Give us the rundown. Give us the link where they can find it. Yeah.
So my coaching company is called Yo Anna Coaching. You can find my YouTube channel, which also still has my travel vlogs. I haven't separated it out because part of this is getting to know me, and that's part of my journey.
Right.
So my natural hair videos are still up there. My
Love
travel
those.
vlogs are up there. They so it's called Yo Anna B 718 because I'm from Brooklyn and
Okay.
that's what it is. Or you could just say Anastasia Weeks and you'll find me on there. And then my YouTube is yo underscore Anna 718, and my website is www.yo-anna.com.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, wait. What part of Brooklyn you from again?
I'm from Sarah City.
All right. Oh, that. Okay. Cool.
This is a New York thing that I'll never. I'll
You
kudos to
wouldn't
New
even
York.
know about that.
Nope, nope. But I have a lot of New York friends. Like I don't know if I was destined to live there, but clearly interact with a lot of New York people because I don't know. Maybe it's just how
Connection.
life worked out. All right. I don't think I have any other questions, even though I would love to keep you on here like forever and ever because I literally adore you. I just want you to know this. Like I don't know if you like we've been friends in my head before I even started talking to you and we started working together.
Friends for so long.
And now we're no, I'm just saying before when we worked together and I saw you from a distance, I was like, we're gonna be friends. And then we became friends. And now it's just great. It's just great to see you grow and evolve. Like you said, your hair videos was following that, following your travel blogs. Like I just think that you're great. I think you're something special, and I know that this next journey or the next stage in your life is going to be nothing but amazing. So I'm happy that you came on with us.
Yeah, I can't wait to just see your journey and see all the wonderful things that's coming, especially because you are doing things that are a service for the community, especially maintaining mental health and just getting you on your correct path, because it's so important. People, it's such a personal journey and a vulnerable journey, and people need that, even though they may say that they don't. So I thank you for being that shoulder for them to lean on. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Oh,
Since we're like giving out flowers here, I'd like to give you guys a flower and just say that I think that what you guys are doing is really incredible, and I think that as you're going through these feelings and these emotions of where you are in your life, and you're trying to figure out where it is that you want to go, creating and pouring it into this space where everyone can kind of see it and be real about what's happening and how it's affecting you is really beautiful, and I love to see it. I can't wait to see where this goes. Where this
oh,
Thank you, Anastasia.
thank you.
We
So
can't
I
wait
actually
to
want
meet
to.
you
I
either.
know. I actually want to end something different. I know we usually do our closing, but I feel like because we're talking about health and wellness, that maybe we could end with Anna kind of giving us just uh, advocating for wellness and advocating for giving yourself grace. I know we kind of started off saying how you gave yourself grace, but just kind of ending with a lovely little anecdote, because I love the lighthouse, about how we can give ourselves grace and each other grace and also maintain our wellness, our self care.
Yeah. I think that it's just important to remember that you are justified in every feeling that you have. Your lived experience brings you to the place where you're reacting in a certain situation, and so no matter how you feel about it afterwards, you are justified for that feeling in that moment, and remember that, and then you can choose to change it or to keep it. It's up to you, but you are okay and you are exactly where you need to be.
That's beautiful.
Wow. With that said, this is another episode of Not Trying to Be Speak Out Sessions, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you later.